show you, it'll be a couple of videos, but these relate to factoring. And what I want to do is first show you how to factor where the leading coefficient, which is right here, is 1. Now I don't write the 1, but if there was a 2 here or a 3 here or a 4 here, this is not the method we would be using. This is only the method, this video is only the method where the leading coefficient right here is a 1, even though we don't technically write it. So we have x squared minus x minus 12. Okay? And the process you follow will be the same every time. You're going to find two numbers that multiply to this number and add to this number. So in this problem, we're going to look for two numbers that multiply to negative 12 and add to negative 1. And the first step, once you declare that, is to figure out what those two numbers are. And two numbers that happen to multiply to negative 12 and add to negative 1 are negative 4 and positive 3. Negative 4 plus 3 is negative 1, and negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. Once you find your two numbers, you're effectively done with the problem. Factoring is to take the two answers and wrap them around a set of parentheses with the variable x. Now the way you can check your work is you can FOIL this. So let me FOIL this. And I get x squared, x times x, plus 3x, because x times 3, minus 4x, negative 4 times x, minus 12. Let me combine my like terms here, and I get x squared minus x minus 12, which happens to match the original problem. So basically factoring is the reverse of FOILing. And you can always take your answer and go back and FOIL it to make sure you factored correctly. Let me do another one like this. So we'll call this number 1. Number 2, x squared plus 12x plus 36. Okay? The leading coefficient is a 1, so we can use this method. We want two numbers that multiply to 36 and add to 12. So we want two numbers that multiply to 36 and add to 12, and you should be able to come up with those as 6 and 6. 6 plus 6 is 12, 6 times 6 is 36. So our answer is x plus 6 times x plus 6. Alright, let's do one more. One more will be x squared plus 5x minus 14. Again, the leading coefficient is a 1. We want two numbers that multiply to negative 14, and we want them to add to 5. Well, two numbers that multiply to negative 14 and add to 5 are going to be positive 7, negative 2. 7 times negative 2 is negative 14. 7 plus negative 2 is 5. So our answers are x plus 7 and x minus 2. Now, if the problem says factor, well then you're done. If the problem said solve, solve means if I give you this same problem and I set it equal to 0 and I say solve, you're going to go through and factor just like we did here, and you're going to get to the step that we just got to, and once you're done factoring, the solve step is to set each parenthesis individually to 0, meaning I take x plus 7 and I set it to 0, and I take x minus 2 and I set it to 0. When I set x plus 7 to 0, I get x equals negative 7. And when I set x minus 2 equal to 0, I get x equals 2. It's these two values of x that make this equation be 0. Then go ahead and plug it in. If I plug x equals negative 7 back into this original equation, you're going to get 0. If you plug x equals 2 back into this original equation, you're going to get 0. And the reason is by setting this parenthesis equal to 0, well, 0 times whatever this parenthesis is still 0, because 0 times anything is 0. And then when I set this parenthesis equal to 0, and it becomes 0, well, 0 times this parenthesis, no matter what it is still going to be 0. So solving is no different than first going through the steps to factor, and then taking one additional step, which is to set each of your two factors, these are the two factors, equal to 0. Good luck.